What the fuck is up, Cowboy Nation? It's been a long 4 months since we've been doing this show. Marcus D. Jones of Bluff City Cowboys will be on in a few minutes. He had some internet issues pre-show. Welcome back. Hope you all enjoyed it. We're going to talk about the draft a little bit tonight. But before then, you can follow us at Dallas Cowboys Uncensored on YouTube. Hit the subscribe and the bell so you know when we're doing our show. This year, we're dropping our shows on Apple and Spotify. It'll be after our live show. We'll upload it to both them platforms. Go over there and follow and like on both them platforms. We have a new Facebook page called Cowboys Uncensored. We had to start another one because Facebook shut the other one down for the third fucking time. So I don't know what's up with that. Hopefully they won't shut this one down. DJ Dogs in the house. What is up? Let the cussing begin. Yeah. What else? Fucking Marcus fucked me on this. Doing a live show by myself now. But yeah. We'll be going live every Tuesday. I will be live every Tuesday. Raka Moves the Chains. She'll be going live every Saturday. So don't forget to watch her shows on Saturday. On Tuesdays, I'll be going by myself most of the time. I'll bring different people on from time to time. Marcus, come on. I'm sure Raka will drop in on a show or two. You can kind of deserve to be, yeah. But yeah, other than that, we'll get started on the draft as soon as Marcus gets back with his internet issues. Hold on real quick. But anyways, after 4 months, we took a break. Back in January, last time we did a show was in January, right before the Niners game. The Niners game was a tough loss for me. I told everybody in the chat that we're in with Marcus and Raka and Eric that that game, if we lose, that would probably be, not probably, it would be the worst loss I've taken since the 2007 Giants game playoff loss. It would be the second worst loss ever to that same game. So after that game, just diving into the draft, I just did not feel like diving into the draft this year. I decided what we'll do is wait till we draft, so we'll know the players we draft, study them players, and then give our opinions on them players. Because I didn't want to study 200-300 players when we're only going to draft 9. I ain't gonna lie, I just did not want to put that time into it this year. I do it every year, and I was tired of doing it. And getting the same results every year, put all my time into it, and then end of the season we lose, don't make the playoffs, or we make the playoffs and lose, or we win one game, we're out. So it was all old to me. So after 20 years of diving in, I decided to take a big break this year. And I am lazy. Plus, like I said, I got a son, I got a dad, I got a girlfriend. I rescue dogs. I got 9 of them and got 2 jobs. Well, did have 2 jobs, about to get another one. So all them things are a lot more important to me than diving into the draft. But like I said, after the draft, I studied up on the players and definitely have an opinion on them now. But I can't stand on no hills. And Marcus just said his Wi-Fi suddenly just stopped and is not working. My computer suddenly won't show any Wi-Fi signal. So Marcus might not be back tonight. That's okay. But until then, he gets back. We'll go through the picks. Chat, y'all can tell me what y'all think about the picks. I can't stand on no hills this year because I didn't watch it. I didn't pay enough attention to it to stand on the hill. But overall, I gave it a B, maybe even a B plus. I was satisfied with it. I thought we did good. The first pick was kind of iffy, but after I thought about it and listened to other people's opinion on it, and after I watched a little bit of film on them, I understand it. Still probably would have went with a more valuable player at that spot. Probably maybe Jermaine Johnson, maybe, but I've taught myself to that wasn't a horrible pick, and I'm going to go with it. Damn, I'm getting all kinds of messages. But anyways, Agree with the grade B. DJ Dog agrees with me on a grade B. Yeah, I've seen some C's. I couldn't argue with the C. I couldn't give it an A. But I didn't give last year's draft grade A either, and that shit turned out pretty fucking good. So we'll see how it turns out. Like I said, it was kind of enjoyable not watching or paying attention too much of draft shit before draft this year. It was probably the most relaxed I've been for a draft since fucking 1991. It's probably the last time I've been that relaxed about a draft. But yeah, so that was real enjoyable. Got Jack Meeker is in the house. DJ Dog, Raka. Hopefully some more will show up. Hopefully fucking Bluff will come back. If not, I can help hold it down. But anyways, we'll start off with the draft. With this new slideshow that StreamYard's got for us. Tyler Smith, guard out of Tulsa. People in the chat, y'all can tell me what y'all think about that. Oh yeah, and also on anybody's going to be listening to this on Apple or Spotify. I'll be talking to people, but that's in the chat. If you're listening there after the show, come over to YouTube, sub, hit the bell, and you can watch us live. If not, if you can't watch us live, you can always catch us on Apple and Spotify. Tyler Smith, guard, Tulsa. Oh, Marcus is back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Like a minute before we went live, my internet just completely went out.
Well, yeah, well, what was hard is in my mind, I didn't prepare to do it by myself, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would have to like work my way up to it, and I would have had like a lot of shit laid out. Like, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about. And then right when we start, like, hey, it's down, I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't even know what I'm going to say now. So, anyways, Bluff City Cowboys, Marcus D. Jones is with us. So, how you been, bub, besides your Wi-Fi?
It's going slow again. Hold on.
Is it going? Is it?
I got my laptop here just in case. It's my computer. It's not my internet. Yeah, I see we got a new addition to the show. Now we have Jack and Angie Meeker joining us. So, Jack, I don't know if you got married recently, but if you did, congratulations.
Yeah, that was fucking weird, dude. When you dropped out, I was like, oh, shit. So I started talking in my head. I'm like, oh, fuck, what am I going to talk about? I done made out everything I was going to say with you. You know, welcome Bluff City Cowboys, blah, blah. I'm like, hell, I don't even know what to say now. All right.
Always happens at the wrong time.
Yeah. Like I said, I was souped up to do it by myself and had everything in my mind. And when you said, hey, you're going to go live tomorrow, I was like, yeah, can I jump on? I'm like, fuck yeah. Not that shit, fuck it. I don't need it. But we can bounce shit off of each other.
Right.
And then once you left, I'm like, I don't have nobody to bounce it off of. And I never done a live show by myself. So that was going to be the first time ever. Mendoza's in the house.
What's up, Mendoza? And we got DJ Dog here too.
Yeah, DJ. Yeah. I opened up what the fuck's up with Cowboy Nation. He said, let the cussing begin. And I said, yes, sir.
Hey, before we start, Charlie, what's your email address again? I want to go ahead and set my laptop up in case my computer goes out.
Shit, what is it? Cowboys? No, Dallas Cowboys.
It's uncensored, right? Uncensored something.
Yeah, uncensored Cowboys.
Okay. At Hotmail?
Gmail.
Okay. All right, I just seen this link because I see it's kind of slowing down again.
You want me to check and send you the link?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks for sticking with us through all the technical difficulties. If you haven't done so already, make sure you like this broadcast, or you can hate it, or you can put a heart, whatever you feel. Just make sure you engage. Make sure you share it also. I'm gonna go through all these draft picks. We definitely want to get you guys feedback.
And I'm about to send it to you, Marcus.
All right. DJ Dog, I agree with you on that. I'll add another reach. Quay Walker to the Packers. I just didn't see that one.
Shit, I was about to put it on the message on here. Let everybody have it.
Please don't do that.
We'll have all kinds of fucking admins controlling our fucking show. All right, I sent it.
Okay.
It's on a chat.
All right, I got it. All right,
All
Charlie. Have you
right.
started talking about this yet?
No, I had just pulled his name up, Tyler Smith, guard out of Tulsa, and then I saw you flash on. I'm like, all right, there's Marcus.
Okay. All right, guys. So you want me to start it off?
Yeah, you can start it off, bud.
Okay. So after we drafted this guy, first of all, he wasn't a 3rd round pick. I had him top 50 personally. The talent was there. I just had other guards I liked more. I think he might be a better right tackle prospect than a left guard, but he definitely has the traits. I've watched about 5 games of him. I think he's definitely going to be an upgrade at guard. His 2 biggest problems are both technique issues. So, depending on how you guys feel about our offensive line coach, if you think he's good enough to fix him, we got a guy right here. His one big issue when he drops into his set, his hands are on his sides and they're low. He doesn't keep his hands up so that he can get that punch, and that's the reason for most of his holding, hand placement.
Yes, and I've seen there he lets people get up in his fucking chest.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice the hands part. That was a good catch on your part. But I've seen the film I watched. There's way too many times. It's like almost he waits for them to hit him. Like
right, because his hands are right here on his sides.
Yeah, see, and I didn't notice that. That was a good catch. I didn't notice that because I'm like, why the fuck does he let people get in his chest like that? Because then you're done.
Right. By the time his hands are up, he's like this.
Yeah, and I did see a lot. He held, and when he holds, that motherfucker holds. I mean, it ain't like one of them outside his body a little bit. He like grabs them by their fucking pads and holds.
Yeah, he rock bottoms people.
Yeah,
he earns his holding calls.
Speaking of the O-line coach, get off the draft real quick.
Yeah,
what do you feel about our O-line coach? Because I think I have a different opinion on him than a lot of people do.
I think he's a better offensive coordinator than an offensive line coach. I think the only reason he's here as the offensive line coach is because McCarthy wants him here.
Oh, he definitely that.
He's buying his time. Either Kellen Moore leaves and he can promote Philbin to his offensive coordinator, or him and Philbin go off in the sunset somewhere else.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with him. I don't think he's that bad. Because I watched the 2020 season, and that offensive line was fucking mangled with injuries.
Mm-hmm.
And they got better as the year. I mean, we ended the year with a fucking backup center, backup right guard, backup left. Hell, we played the whole season with backup left tackle and right tackle.
Yeah.
And I thought we improved every game. And then last year, I didn't think we was horrible. You had Connor Williams with the holding shit, but I didn't have a huge issue with his blocking necessarily. He did okay with that, just it was his holding. And I mean, that is technique. Coaches are responsible for that shit. But that was like a 1-year thing. He never had a holding problem before that. I just kind of thought he kind of got in the referee's eyes, and once it started, it fucking steamrolled from that point on.
I was just
I thought badass. I thought he improved as the year went on. He wasn't great at the end of the year, but he's still better than he was at the first of the year. I still fucking made leaps and bounds from where he was the year before. So I don't have that negative. I'm not standing on a hill for him saying he's a great offensive line coach. Right. I just don't think he's as bad as some people have no faith in. And I'm like, well, I have faith in him. I mean, could we get better? Sure. I mean, there's better online coaches out there, but I don't have a huge issue with him.
Yeah, I don't think he made the offensive line regress. And DJ Dog made the point. I mean, we saw what happened with Steele. You can call it Steele as much as you want, but you got to give the credit to the offensive line coach a little bit. Steele was getting destroyed as a first year guy, and the next year he basically played better than Collins.
Well, somebody brought up on Twitter the other day. I seen this that Duke Mayweather, that dude that works with all the players. He's an offensive line coach.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's his name. If I'm not saying that right, somebody knows. Let me know. But I think it's Duke Mayweather or some shit like that. And somebody said it's not a coincidence that his players are the ones on the Cowboys that's improving.
Right.
But this is the thing. Since 2011, when they fucking did away with pretty much the whole offseason for the players,
yep,
it's been that way. Like your coaches coaches shouldn't get a lot of credit for developing players anymore, because most of the offseason they're with private coaches because they're not allowed. Their NFL just totally did away with the offseason and any kind of contact with the player. So in that part, yeah, I mean, most all players like Dak's improved because his private coach. It wasn't any quarterback coach he had. That's how. Nowadays that's how it is. I mean, that's with all players.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend Coach Webb, who's done some off-season training with some teams, and he told me coaches have a set amount of time that they can talk to players. Unless a player walks up to the coach and asks him a question, once that time is it, he's done. There's no extra coaching. There's no extra film study. There's not a coach just trying to go up and give guidance unless that player initiates it. So that really, like you said, that takes away a lot of the ability for a coach to just train a guy.
Well, see, back in the day, now they're not allowed to even report to April. Fucking back in the day, that they was already coaching them fuckers in February and March. I mean, they was already doing shit with them. And now they can, and then even then, there's a phase that they can only talk to the strength and conditioning coach and shit like that. And then phase 2. So they took a lot of the coaching out of it, back in 2011. And it even got worse with the last CBA in 2020.
Yeah.
Hell, you had players like Aaron Rodgers. He didn't even want off season. He wanted to get off after the season and not have to come back to training camp. That's how, if it was up to players, that's how they would do it.
Yeah.
So,
and like Jack said, he's got a nasty style of play, and that's going to work perfect putting him inside.
Yeah, overall with the pick, my opinion when it first happened, like I said, I told everybody when you was gone, I didn't dive into the draft this year. So I can't stand on no hills. I decided I'm not going to dive into the draft. I'm not going to study 200 players when we're only drafting 9. And then that's, 192 players or 91 players that fucking was a waste of my time.
Yeah.
So I decided I'll just wait till we draft, and I was going to dive in and then fucking give my opinions from there. So I can't stand on no hills. But yeah, I think he'll be fine at fucking left guard. I think his run blocking is off the charts. I mean, he's really fucking good. He is a mauler at run blocking. So I don't know if I should say it again, because last time I said this, it fucking got some people up in fucking feelings and shit. But for the running backs, for the fucking people who loves to run the damn ball, that is good for y'all, because he will improve the run offense.
Yeah, and like DJ Dog said, some people saw him as a reach. I personally, I like the player. I didn't like the pick because there were other guards that I liked, and I felt like he's gonna take a little bit more time for refinement. But he has the traits. He can go out there and just be a monster, or he could go out there and look lost. We don't know. But in terms of power, hand grip strength, drive ability, second level ability, he has it and he's shown it. It's all about, is the step up from Tulsa to the NFL going to be too big for him? And is the transition inside to guard going to be an issue? And who said that? Somebody said something about 6'7". Yeah, Jack said, how much knee bend can a 6'7" tackle really have? That's another thing you got to be concerned about, because he's a big boy, and you're putting him inside at guard. So you just don't know. That could be an issue for him. He has enough strength that I think he could overcome it. Another thing I noticed about his pass set, his feet are wide, and that causes balance issues. So if they can bring his base in a little bit more, even if he's not a knee bender, if he could just get that balance down, I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, for the most of the draft, what I couldn't do was go with the value of the pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought we should have picked this player instead of that player. But the only round that I could do that was because first round, I'm obviously familiar with that just because I watch college football. I know all them guys. Was that I did think value-wise, I thought we should have played, if there was multiple players, but Jermaine Johnson was the first one in my mind that I thought, if for value, that would have been good value there.
Yeah.
But like I said, that from that point on, from second round on, I couldn't really tell you, well, I think we should have went with this player because I didn't dive into it enough to know.
Yeah.
So I can give you my opinion on all the players, but not who we should have drafted at that point. But that was the only one I thought, I thought it was going Jermaine Johnson. I'm like, oh, we're about to draft. And when they said his name, I'm like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but like I said, I wasn't too upset. I was more relaxed about this draft than I was ever, just because I didn't take a deep dive into it. So, but yeah, I think he should be. I think he'll be fine at left guard. We needed a left guard, and we got one. So
yeah,
we'll see how he does.
Pat Campbell, I agree. I agree to an extent. First round shouldn't be a project player, but even as a project, I still think this can be an upgrade at the guard position, just because of the mold of clay you got. At worst, he's going to be an above average guard, and I think he could beat out Conor McGovern, but we'll see. What's McGovern in his 4th year?
You got 3rd year, 4th year. He got drafted what, 2019 or 18?
Yeah, 19,
20, 20. Yeah, he's going in his 4th season. Yeah,
he could break out. You don't know, but
yeah, I just don't think he'll break out from the left side. I think Jerry and them said it in the press conference about Tyler. He's a left side player.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about me and you in our discussions that we had last year. That's why they say he's a left side player. He's guard right now and hopefully for future left tackle, because that's what he does, left side. And I don't know if McGovern can do left side. I think he might be a right side player, because he looked fucking okay last year at right guard. And when I say last year, I meant 2020. And then last year in 2021 and against Tampa Bay and the times he did play right guard, I thought he played well. But left guard, he just got fucking demolished. He looked like pure shit. Looked like he was lost the whole time. So with McGovern, I think he might just be a right side player, and that's who he is.
Yeah. I think just the move inside the guard will help with some of the holding calls that he has.
Oh yes, I think that would help tremendously. He's not on an island by himself now. I mean, that was a big fucking difference. That's like when LC was moving to right tackle. I didn't like him at right tackle when he moved. I didn't want to move him out there, because I thought what he did at left guard was really good. And one thing he had issues with at left guard was pass protection. Yeah. And I thought if you put him out there on the island by himself, that's not going to get better. And in 2017-18, it didn't get better. He was average to above average them years, and then broke out in 2019. And then didn't play in 2020. And then last year, he was meh, nothing over the top good, nothing over the top bad, just meh.
This is a good comment, William Coulter. Thank you for joining. And I got a question about this, but we'll get back to it after the next few picks. Looking at DJ Dog, I was actually going to make this point about his wide base. I think it could have something to do with that condition he had in high school, because he probably walked wide and bow-legged his whole life. So he's probably just naturally used to walking and moving with that wide base. So that's something to consider, but hopefully it could be correctable with proper training.
Pat Campbell talking shit and Rika.
Yeah, Jack says Rika's the comic relief.
Yeah, well, agree to disagree. All right.
This is a little bit off topic. Have you noticed people trying to decipher the piece of paper Jerry held up?
Supposedly Blogging the Boys did it, or somebody did, and they have the top 50, they have the top 16. They was able to do it.
Yeah, I think they're up to 30 now.
Yeah,
I just saw somebody put a tweet out there. Okay. Going on to pick 2, Charlie? Charlie, you still with me?
Yeah, I was having to cuss my dog out real quick.
Okay. All right, we're going on to pick 2?
Yeah, go ahead, pick 2. Sorry.
All right, guys. Continue to stick with us. Give us your questions and comments about all these picks. Had a lot of people just giving feedback on social media. So let us know what you think in the comments, so we can kind of talk about what you think about how the Cowboys did in this draft. All right, pick 2.
Well, here it is.
Now, Charlie, I went to Ole Miss. I followed this kid for a long time. I'll let you go first. I'm curious what your thoughts are about him as a player.
I actually like him. I think he might be a little stiff. And somebody, I think it was Wedge that mentioned it today, and I agree with them, is that I'm quite excited about like blitz packages with him. Not that he's playing linebacker, but instead of him just as a pure in the dirt defensive end, I'm more excited about them using him like they did Micah last year. Again, not middle linebacker. I'm talking about from the edge of a kind of a stand-up guy. But yeah, I mean his stiffness might be the only thing I could say that I don't like. But other than that, no, I think I love this pick. I totally love this pick.
I'll talk about the blitz stuff off the air. Somebody gave me a little bit of info about what we can expect. But I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Okay.
So this pick, first of all, there was no chance he was falling to the third round with those measurables and those stats. And I know a lot of people tried to say this was a reach pick. A kid that led the SEC in sacks and runs a 4.5 is not falling to the third round, regardless of what you think about him. Backstory about his history. So one of my close friends was a defensive coach at the junior college he was at. Also had some ties to Coach Quinn. He told me when Sam came into college, he came from some little small dirt road town in Alabama, played football for a year. Only because the coach just saw the talent and he needed guys. He had no clue about like playing the sport of football. He was just out there running around. He got to college, got to JUCO, and just because of his home life, he didn't really have access to nutrition like he needed. So he got to college, got on a meal plan, got in the weight room for the first time. He gained 25 pounds like that as a freshman. And he was learning football, not technique, not how to play in. He was learning the sport of football. Year one at the junior college, he was just a guy. Year two, after he learned football, played 12 games, had like 14 sacks and 17 tackles for loss. Just from learning the game. Gets transferred to Ole Miss. Year one, kind of just a guy, just learned football. He gets 6 sacks. Year two, the coaches teach him defensive end nuances, and the kid gets 12.5 sacks. This kid has the ability to be special if he wants to put the time in to learn. He's still a raw ball of clay because he's still learning the defensive end position. He doesn't know about hand placement. He doesn't know about bend. He doesn't know about counters. All he knows is get down in the stance and go get the quarterback. And I talked to my friend about the bend thing and how he looks stiff. My friend told me he doesn't know what bend means. So when you saw the drills, somebody showed him the drills and he just did them. He doesn't understand how to flip his hips and stuff like that. So I think because of those reasons, we got a real steal with this one. But it all comes down to his mental and how much he can absorb as a player.
Well, good thing about it, he ain't got to come in here and be a day one starter.
Right.
You know, we got Armstrong, we got Numbnuts. We just signed a new guy. Landon, my mind's going blank. You know, we got
Fowler.
Yeah, there you go. So we got people. So
Basham will probably be the starter on the right side.
Basham, there you go.
Start the season.
You know, so yeah, I think I actually, like I said, when we made the pick, I liked it. And then when after the draft was over, I was studying, I was like, I even like it more. I just because he is raw, and I think he has a lot of room to grow. And now I didn't know that about how little football he knew. That was news to me.
Yeah.
So that's pretty impressive. And Willie McGinnis broke it down too before we even drafted him and what we needed, and he said we needed him.
Yeah.
That was the second night they was asking what the Cowboys need, and Willie McGinnis said the same thing, that he doesn't have no moves.
None.
He hasn't learned all of his moves. He just does that off pure fucking athletics. I mean, just pure effort and just I'm going to go get the fucking quarterback. So once he starts learning, like you said, hand placement, fucking moves, swim moves, fucking spin moves. Yeah, I think him and Parsons on the same team for the next, hopefully the next decade, but at least the next 3 or 4 years, that's going to be pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah. The only move he has is the straight arm.
Yeah.
His coaches taught him not to let a tackle get in his chest. And if you watch some of the clips that you see going around, his one move is a straight arm. Watch how effective that straight arm is when he uses it. Particularly against Charles Cross in Mississippi State.
Well, hell, that's like Parsons, dude. Parsons ain't got a lot of fucking moves.
Right.
I mean, his move was the fucking go outside and cut inside, and it fucking worked. It just he dominated. And that's why I said about Parsons last. When he just learns the edge and plays it more, he's going to be fucking dominant.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Not to get too much in that, but I hope he gets to see a lot of edge this year too.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wanted a linebacker. I want somebody to be able to let Parsons roam and do more edge shit.
Right. Yeah, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how they use all these defensive ends we have. And him and Parsons are going to have to roll together.
We might see more of a 3-4 look more often with two fucking outside line, with him and fucking Parsons on the edge, or hell, you can keep going. DA. I mean, we got a lot of defensive ends. We got a lot of things we can do with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and D-Law can always move inside too. Because I love fucking D-Law inside.
Yeah.
I like it. I like him at defense, man, but I fucking love him inside. It's a Cox joke.
Cox references.
It's a Cox joke.
And DJ Dog saying, do you guys feel as though the draft cleaned us out with top four tackles, top 2 guards, and top 6 wide receivers taken in front of us? Charlie brought it up. Jermaine Johnson was still there. We could have been good.
If I would say this, and if Blogging the Boys or whoever did that fucking of the draft sheet, if they're right, and that is what it, they wasn't lying. They had him ranked 16th best player in the draft. Tyler Smith. That's where they had him ranked. They had him ranked above fucking Jermaine Johnson. Now I would say this, and I said it then, I'll say it again. If they did, then I hope he turns out good, because I'm really going to have to question, because everybody loves Will McClay. I do too. Mm-hmm. But if he put that fucking kid above Jermaine Johnson, I'm going to have to at least ask, what exactly was that about?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to have to question some things. But hey, I questioned them drafting Parsons last year too, and I look like a moron. So there you go.
Yeah.
I'm just a fan giving my opinion, and hopefully I'm wrong.
The biggest knock I saw on Jermaine Johnson is he's like 25.
Yeah, he's older.
Yeah. So you never know. But from a talent level, I like Johnson a lot. And William Coulter talking about how strong he was. We talked about the stiff arm. That's it. That's his only go-to move. That and just run and get the quarterback.
Yeah. Like I said, Parsons was the same way last year. He didn't have no move. He had that one move to step to the left and go inside. And I feel like once we got a Rams YouTuber in the house.
Yeah, payo time. Thank you for joining. No, I have no clue who that is.
I don't either. But welcome. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
If the Cowboys had a bad start to the season, could you see McCarthy being fired in season? Depends how bad of a start. We're talking about 1-5, 1-6. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
I just don't foresee that happening. Injuries could always happen, knock on wood. But I'm not like some fans. I don't think our team is horrible. I don't think we downgraded as much as people think we did. I never did do any videos over the Cooper trade or the Randy Gregory losing him or the LC trade. But just let you know, I didn't think we downgraded as much as other fans did. I didn't think it was a holy shit moment. But yeah, other than that, I don't see us having a bad season. Just right now, talking May 3rd, I still think we're picked to win a division. I still pick us to win a division. That's just because the other ones ain't got no fucking quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, no, if anything's possible. I could see it, but like I said, they would have to be a horrible start of the season. And unless there's injuries, I don't see us having a horrible start of the season. I think we'll be fine.
And Peo, just to give you a little bit of history about the Cowboys, we had Phillips and Jason Garrett here together, and Phillips went 1-7 and he was fired. So there's some precedent there.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, definitely. That's why I said if we go 1-4 and 1-5, 1-6, I can easily see Jerry like fuck this, let's go. Yeah. And a lot of people think would be I'm guessing would be fucking Quinn that would take over, and then we'll see at the end of the season. I know a lot of people think Peyton. I'm not going to get off on a rant on that, but I'm telling you right now, Sean Payton will not be the fucking coach of the Dallas Cowboys next year. Not going to happen.
It would have to be a lot of front office changes.
There's so much shit that would have to happen for him to be a Dallas Cowboys head coach. And I just don't see any of that happening.
I agree. William Coulter asked a good question. How was he against the run? Again, he's still learning the position. He ducks inside way too much, trying to beat the tackle inside.
I seen John Owning, I think it was him, posted some of his run defense. And of course, when you post stuff, you're going to post stuff that looks good. And I'm not calling him out for that. He was just showing good plays on him against run. And a lot of them, he was jumping inside, but he was making it. He was jumping in and getting there, which that's fine. If you don't want to set the edge, you want to jump in. But if you fucking do, you got to get there, because if you don't, you just blew the whole play up. You just blew the whole defense up. But anyways, I noticed that he jumped inside a lot.
He jumps inside all the time, pass rush and run defense.
Yeah.
But he has athleticism to get there, like you said.
Yeah, like I said, Oni showed all the plays that he got there on. So, as long as you get there, hey, jump inside all you want. Just make sure you get there. It's like JJ Watt. Seth, damn, I can't think his last name. Played for the Jaguars. He does a radio show at 610. He was always on JJ Watt's ass on 610 radio there. How JJ always goes against what the play says, because Seth played in a 3-4, the same position. And he said JJ blows a lot of plays up, but he also screws the whole defense up a lot too by jumping inside and trying to make a play. And then he doesn't, and then everybody else is off key.
Pre-game sweat. Looks like another new name. Thank you for joining. I see Rika giving a greeting. I don't know if she knows what it is or not, or it's just being nice.
That's Rika. She's not just being nice.
I don't know how I knew you were going to say that one.
I wanted her to come on tonight, but she works a fuckload of hours, dude. And she was tired, so I don't blame her.
Yeah. And Jack, like we said earlier, I don't think this kid knows what B&D is yet. I think it's there. They just got to show him how to do it.
Yeah, after what you told me about his JUCO and playing 1 year and going to that makes me even like this pick anymore, because fuck, he doesn't even know football yet. And that's not being an insult. You literally, you basically played as much as a PB player has.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I mean, he has a lot to learn. So yeah, that's pretty exciting.
I pretty much knew since March this was going to be the second round pick. Quinn did a lot of his own homework on this kid in terms of interviews and one-on-one coaching outside of the pro day. This one was inevitable.
Side note, the motherfucker looks just like Micah Parsons, dude.
He does.
Especially when he's holding his fucking kid. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, that looks just like Parsons, man.
Yep.
Like they could literally be brothers.
Yep. So yeah, if he puts it all together, this could be the one that we talk about 5 years from now.
Yeah.
But it's really all up to him, how well he takes coaching.
Probably be one of the ones that Steven wouldn't want to pay and fucking taking 2 fucking years to pay him and pay him twice as much as he should have. Because he waited 2 fucking years. That dude gets on my fucking nerves. Want to go to the next one?
Yeah, let's go ahead. And like Rika said, don't forget to hit that like button. And keep the comments coming in.
Yeah, and also comment on the chat, but also comment on the video too, because Like I said, that goes to your YouTube algorithm, and that helps us. It could be a bad comment. It could be, you suck ass, Charlie. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just leave a comment. It helps us out. Any comment you leave. Jalen Tolbert. I'll start this one off. This is probably biased because I am. I love passing the ball. This is probably my favorite pick. Well, it's my second favorite pick in the whole draft.
Has your first one been said yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But yeah, no, but I love this pick. But like I said, it's probably biased because he's wide receiver, and he's fucking good wide receiver too. Kind of, I don't want to say it, but kind of reminds me of Gallup in a way, in the sense of what he can do, And but yeah, no, I love this pick. Like I said, that was at that time at the third round. In the third round, that was my favorite pick out of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing against the other two. Just like I said, it's total bias. Because a lot of people were saying wide receiver was a need.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I didn't think it was a need. That's just me. I didn't go into the draft, but it didn't mean I didn't want to draft one. But that's the thing. We could have still had Cooper. Gallup could have been healthy and still had CeeDee Lamb. We could have still had Wilson. And I still want a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds. That's just me. You're never going to hurt my feelings by drafting a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds. It's just I don't give a shit how loaded. Because to me, that's where the game is gone. Not going. It's gone to the passing game. So anytime you can constantly add weapons to the passing game, I'm all fucking for it. That and offensive line. That's the two spots I want to add to all the time. But yeah. But I'll let you dip in it because you probably know more about him than I do.
Not really. I had to watch tape on him after the draft. I mean, I've heard a lot of people talk about him. What I saw, I liked a lot. He actually reminds me a lot of Chris Godwin from Tampa Bay.
Yeah, okay.
I can see that. He's a Z receiver. I don't think he's a slot. His routes aren't that crisp, but his footwork and his strength off the line of scrimmage and his ability to accelerate off the line.
He's good at high point too. I like how he high points.
He's a high pointer too. And when the ball goes in the air, he finds a second gear to go get under it too. That's something we haven't had in a long time.
Did you watch the video of the wide receiver coach Prince talking about him?
I did.
Yeah, that's what I liked. I'm like, hell yeah. I mean, if he impressed that coach that much to where he's saying they're going to have to kick him out of the facility because that's how much film he watches.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And I will say this about this draft, and everybody's been mentioning it. They brought some mean motherfuckers in.
They did
with some attitude, like Ridgeway. We'll get to him later.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, the motherfucker who said I'm out there to break people's necks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's fucking 1980. That's not even PC anymore. You shouldn't say that. But back in our coaches told us break their fucking neck. Back then, we was taught to hit them in their chest. And, I ain't going to try to explain how to fucking show it on film how to tackle, but that's how we was taught to tackle. And they would always tell you, put your fucking head through their fucking heart, So that's it. So when I got a guy on the radio saying, I want to, I'm out there to break people's necks, I'm like, fuck yes, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I liked him. And this is not a knock on Bo, but I liked that pick better than I liked Bo last year.
Don't get me started, Charlie.
Yeah. Now I'm still not fucking going to be that guy say he's going to save our run defense. I'm like everybody did about Bo last year, but I like the pick. That was I like the pick.
Yeah, I can give you 20 minutes on Ridgeway. Love him.
Yeah. That's he's just a mean fucker, dude. And I'm an old defensive player, so that's although I talk about offense when I played nothing past high school. When I played, that's all I played was fucking defense. So I love defense. I love people want to break people's necks.
Yeah.
And to say it out loud, that's even better. So, yeah.
Yeah, but with Tolbert, I think when we get Gallup back, our offense is probably going to look better than it did last year because I feel like Gallup can go to the X. This kid can go to the Z. Now, Coop was great. I don't want to take anything away from him, but Tolbert gives us a downfield element that Cooper didn't consistently give us. And Coop had some times where he would give up on plays. From what I've seen from this kid and his film study and his tenacity, he's not giving up on plays. He's going out there for touchdowns every time. And a stat that I've been throwing out for years. We finally drafted a guy under 6'2" that runs under a 4.5. So I'm excited to see how we finally do this, how it works in our scheme.
See, earlier I said something, and I probably should need to clarify. I said he reminds me of Gallup. Not reminds me of Gallup coming out, because Gallup coming out wasn't a deep ball guy, but he reminds me what Gallup does now. That's what he did in college. That's what he reminds me of.
Yeah.
You know, because Gallup, I still don't think that's Gallup's game. I still think they should use Gallup more on crossing routes, on post routes and shit like that. For however why we made him our deep threat, I haven't understood that. I mean, he's played it well. I'm not saying he hasn't played it well. It's just I don't understand how he became that guy. But this guy is that guy.
And that's why I said the offense will look better, because you're going to put a guy who's meant for that role in that role.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to clarify, because you made a good point. I didn't want people thinking I'm saying that I just say he reminds me of Gallup's role. What he did in college is what Gallup does with us. And I think he'll be better at it, because that's what the fuck he does.
Yeah. And the small school thing doesn't scare me with him, because
no, not at all.
Receivers, you either got it or you don't, just like corners.
Yeah, small school stuff. Linemen bothers me. Like offensive linemen, you're going against little defensive linemen, or defensive linemen going against some, not very good offensive linemen. But wide receivers, I'm with you.
Yeah. So Charlie, this question William Coulter asked, what do you think? Because I'm still up in the air about it.
Do you think Tolbert will start the season as number 2 until Gallup gets back? Yeah. Well, fuck. I think people underplay James Washington. I think Washington, he's not a bad wide receiver. I think and I'm so with the vet wise, with him having experience, I can maybe see it being Lamb and Washington out there as a number 2. But yeah, I don't know, because then when you go 3 wide receiver set, well, I guess you go 3 wide receiver set, you can move Lamb into the slot and have Tolbert and fucking Washington on the outside. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know how fast Tolbert comes on. If Tolbert's ready, if he can do what I think he can do, yes, I think he'll be the number 2. But maybe it'll take him some time, and maybe it's not the first 2 games. Maybe it'll come the 3rd or 4th game, a couple of games before Gallup comes back. I don't know.
Yeah. I think, William, our next pick is going to probably be a little bit more influential in the passing game until Gallup gets back than Tolbert. Because I don't know who's going to play the X until Gallup gets back. I don't want Lamb full time as the X. You got to put him back in the slot at some point. For me, more than outside. So
I don't know if he was a part of this conversation, and I don't have the exact numbers and I don't have no numbers wrote down in front of me. But when Lamb played the majority of his snaps on the outside this year in games, like say he played 60% of his snaps on the outside, them numbers were better than in games that he had most of his snaps from the slot.
That's a good stat I didn't know.
Yeah, because me and Wedge was talking about it, and I told him, I said, dude, let me check this. I said, before I say this, I said, but I might surprise you with something. And I checked it, and I came back. So yeah, I said his numbers. Now, I'm not saying every time he lined up in the slot and every time he lined up out wide. I can't break it down individually. I can just break it down when he took 55% of his snaps from the outside, or 55% of his snaps from the inside, from the slot. His numbers outside was better than inside.
Yeah.
And I was shocked on that. I was shocked on that. That's not saying don't put him in the slot, because it wasn't like his numbers was fucking horrible in the slot. They was just surprisingly was fucking better on the outside than it was on the inside.
Yeah.
And
before we move on, Charlie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where was that comment? Yeah, Riker talks about when Tolbert said Dak called him 2 weeks before the draft and had a 20-minute conversation with him. That sounds like a good thing to me. Do you think that means Dak kind of targeted this as a guy he likes, and maybe maybe he wants him in the offense? I
can't remember who reported it, but from what I understand, it wasn't the only wide receiver he called.
Okay.
Now, don't quote me on that. I've seen somebody say, and I can't remember if it was not that checkmark guys know what the fuck they're talking about either, but I can't remember if it was a checkmark guy or if it was, just a fan. But from what I remember seeing, he wasn't the only one that he called. He called a few other ones too. But yeah, no, I think they probably had only about 3 or 4 guys they was targeting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like maybe one in the first round if they fell, and maybe one in the second round. And they actually said they was taking Tolbert in the second, but they thought whatchamacallit wasn't going to be there in the third, and they thought Tolbert still had a chance to be there in the third. So they ended up being pretty good.
Yeah,
being right on that one.
Yeah, I actually had Tolbert as one of my top 60 guys. So,
but I do like that the fucking Cowboys got him to call him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, say, hey, look, we're looking at this guy. Call him, see what see what you think about it, see what he likes. You know, see what kind of rapport you have with him and shit like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so that's good. And plus, it made that kid feel like fucking king shit.
Right.
That he has fucking Dak Prescott calling him, talking about him about plays and what he likes to do and shit. You know. So and I think he's the same one that said that Prescott followed him on fucking Twitter, and he was like, "Holy shit, man!" But yeah, but like I said, the wide receiver coach Prince, everything he said made me feel even better about him. That as hard as he works, and he's going to be a guy that you're going to have to kick off the facility because that's all he wants to do is stay at the facility and work. So, yeah, like I said, he was my second favorite pick, but we'll get to my favorite pick here in a little while. I think now that we talked about a little bit, we're probably going to have the same favorite pick.
I know we do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're going to have the same fucking one. Now that we kind of mentioned a couple of things, we'll go ahead and move on to the next one here.
All right,
Jake Ferguson. I'll let you go first on this one.
Okay, and I put Jack Meeker's comment up here about Gallup as a big slot, and I see we got Professor O in the building. Thank you for joining. So I know he can call me out if I'm wrong on a bunch of stuff because
now we got a smart guy in here.
Yeah.
No, nothing against everybody else in the chat. I'm insulting me, not y'all. That came off wrong when I said that.
Yeah, he has the new moniker now, Matt Knowing, because he knows everything.
All Matt Knowing.
Yep. But yeah, Jake Ferguson, I like the kid. Solid tight end, good route runner, excellent hands. So he has a sub-7 3-cone, which is something I always look at when it comes to players. So that lets me know, regardless of what that speed looks like, he has quick feet. He can get in and out of his breaks really quick. I think if we decide to do some big slot stuff, I think this will be the guy that you kind of see kind of in the slot because of his route running ability in his hands. So I like the pick. Tight end was kind of getting thin at that point, and we definitely needed another one. So I think it's a solid pick. We still don't have a guy that I think is a consistent blocker. I think he's good enough, but I think he's gonna make an impact year one as a rookie.
Yeah, no, I like the pick. I thought it was a solid pick. I'm with you. I like his hands. He ain't a great blocker, but he's an effort blocker. You know, he'll put his head in there and at least attempt to. And plus, he's young. You can always improve on that. Usually tight ends don't come in polished as blockers unless that's what they did in college was block.
Right.
So yeah, no, overall I like the pick. It wasn't nothing like wow, but nothing bad. I just thought it was a solid pick, and I think he'll contribute right away.
Yeah, and shouts out to Mendoza for this one because I didn't even look at tight ends in the draft. I know me and Nick's used to go back and forth a lot because he would always say we need to have a tight end that stretches the field and opens things up in the middle, and I just didn't see Dallas doing that. So I just stopped looking at tight ends because I didn't want to look at speed guys. But Mendoza pointed this kid out to me and started watching some tape on him, and the route run is there and the hands are definitely there. I think until Gallup comes back, we're probably going to see a lot of 12 personnel similar to what we saw early in the season last year. And this is going to be the kid, him and McEwen, who help us do that. And I know Matt O talked about how close him and McEwen are athletically. So I think we're going to see a nice three tight end rotation of Ferguson, McEwen, and Schultz.
Yeah. Like I said, I liked it. And his hands probably stuck out more to me than anything else. He's got just like good, smooth, soft hands.
Mm-hmm.
He'll snatch it out of there. And his
Yeah.
numbers wasn't over impressive, but he plays for Wisconsin, so
Right.
I'm not going to hold that against him.
Yeah, I think I think he's a pro. I think he's a pro tight end. He's definitely going to come in and contribute. Yeah, Matt, we had this conversation before about Sprinkle going to 4 deep. I think that's pretty much where we are. It all depends on the numbers game when it comes down to it at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely if we go 3 deep, he's gone. If we go 4, it's just like you said, depends on the O line and fucking D line, how many people we keep off all that.
Mm-hmm. And they haven't been opposed to using McGovern in different spots.
That is true.
Mendoza already diving into the undrafted free agents.
Yeah, I didn't put all of them up there because I wasn't going to do that much. But I would say this: I'm really happy about the whole class.
Yeah,
I thought the whole class as a whole was we got a lot of good gets, as you would say.
Yeah, I'm doing undrafted free agents next week. We have 20 of them. I could talk right now probably about 6 or 7 of them and be confident in what I say. I got a bunch of guys I got to go back and watch.
Yeah.
So give me a week on that one, and then next week I'll be talking undrafted. Charlie, if you want to join me, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'll study up on. I'll come on. PFF already has his 23 big board. Yeah, I don't hate PFF. I subscribe to him. I pay him fucking money every month. I just don't use them for stuff that other people use them for. They just got some detailed stuff in there that I can't get anywhere else, and that I enjoy watching. Their grades, I just don't pay attention to their grades, and that's kind of their forte.
Yeah.
So I'm not really big on their grades.
Were you shocked that they took a tight end this early?
No, not at all. I figured he's going to take one in the 3rd or 4th round. Because you got Schultz on a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
I don't see him. I don't see them giving him a contract, and I see him playing on his tag and him walking next year.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So yeah, I could see him taking one. So yeah, 3rd or 4th round, I figured they'd take one. Like I said, I was happy with him. There was a couple tight ends I liked in the draft. But I'm like you. I'm not worried about that super athletic guy that can get down the middle and and take the top off the deep. That's not what we do. So that's not what we're going to ever draft. Well, not under this current regime.
Okay.
Goddamn
yeah,
how.
Yeah, Matt O did join me last year for undrafted. So Matt, if you're free, I'd love to have you come on also.
Well, if you and Matt going on, I'm going to be the fucking dummy in the show. So I'll probably just
don't say that. Trust me. We'll both be the dummy. We'll both be the dummy. Trust me.
I ain't dealing with that shit.
Last year, I probably went about 450 deep in players that I watched. This year is probably a little bit over half that. So these undrafted guys. And plus, Dallas went away from their usual, we're only going to draft from Power 5 schools.
Yeah, that's another thing.
An example of that.
Yeah. Yep. They did do that. What do you think about this guy?
Okay.
I can't even pronounce his last name, so I'm going to call him Matt W.
So I watched one full game that I could find, and then I watched snippets of other stuff that I could find. Initial reaction, tall kid. Of course, he's going to play a little high because he's 6'8". He has good movement for his size. He's not a stomper like Josh Ball was last year. Has quick hands, pretty athletic for his size. The only thing that stood out to me, I don't know if he has small hands or he has bad grip strength. He could not grab a player. Like, he had a good push, but when it came to grabbing a guy and locking onto him and controlling him, they just slipped right off. he's the opposite of Tyler Smith. Like Tyler Smith, if he grabs a guy, it's over. This kid could not get his hands on players, and I'm talking about small schools. So I don't know if it's small hands or grip strength, but you have to be able to control guys in the NFL.
Yeah, I liked him for where he's drafted, but I don't have a strong opinion on him. I'm like, I can't. I couldn't find enough shit to watch on him. I'd had kind of what I did was go off other people's opinions that I like and can break down film good and know their shit.
Yeah.
So I like the pick for where it was at, but I'm not overexcited about it, but I'm not impressed about it. I thought it was a solid pick at that spot, but and we'll see what happens. He has a size. I mean, he has the measurables are off the fucking charts.
Did you see he had a over 7 foot wingspan? Over 7 foot.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Tyler Smith, don't he have what does Smith have?
I think Smith is 81.
I was about to say his shit was ridiculous too.
Yeah. I think this kid is like 86. 86 inch wingspan.
Yeah, there's some big fucking dudes, man.
So let me ask you this question because it goes back to a question that Jack Meeker asked earlier in the show, talking about Ty Smith and how he plays multiple positions because Tyron always gets hurt. If we're in week 9 and it seems like Dallas is going to stick with what we have, who's gonna sub in at left tackle? You think this kid could be ready by week 7 to sub in? You think we move Tyler Smith to left and do a little bit of a shuffle? Is Josh Ball ready?
I'm assuming it's going to be Ball.
Okay.
That's my assumption. I don't have no basis on that. I can't back. That's just kind of how they treated the left tackle position and by draft picks and shit like that. I'm assuming they and from what reports are, they're happy with Ball's offseason and his work in the weight room.
Yeah.
And shit like that. So I'm looking at him to be the swing tackle.
Yeah, like Jack Meeker said, they said they were out of the veteran swing tackle business. So we got to look at what we got to see who can do it.
Yeah. So I'm assuming, with Ball having, 1 year in, although he didn't play because, of all his injuries and shit like that, but he has 1 year in. I feel like he probably has the leading role in the swing tackle. Unless this kid can come in and just, fucking amaze everybody. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah. I mean, that is a spot that is a little skid. That's why it makes me think they were happy with Ball.
Yeah.
Since they haven't addressed it at all. So with any vet, or any high draft pick. So I'm assuming, well, fucking Tyler, but he's going to play guard. But hell, maybe you're right. Maybe that's what their plan is too. Maybe he has it because Stephen Jones did say that he's going to get snaps at left tackle. That Smith will get snaps at left tackle. So maybe that's they're going to look at that is kind of have your swing tackle will be your left guard. If something happens, he'll move out and somebody else will move in at left guard. Yeah. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not so sure they even know. Yeah. I think it's a work in progress over the next 3 or 4 months till we get in the training camp.
Mm-hmm. And as much as we talked about Sam Williams and how raw he is, this one might be the most high potential player we drafted because he has everything. I think I was on the show with the UK guys when they made the pick, and I think Mike Poland said that this guy never gave up a sack and only gave up 2 hurries in his college career. That's it. So when it came
like his measurables off the charts.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's just a matter how raw he is and what he can do when he comes in to OTAs and mini camp and shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This kid has a chance. We'll see. I can't wait this is the one person I'll probably be watching whenever we get footage of practice more than anybody that we've drafted. Because the other guys, I feel like I can see enough tape to know how they'll progress. This guy, I have no clue what we're going to get.
Yeah, Jack brought up a good point. I've seen Foots talk about it too.
Yeah.
That the Senior Bowl, he shined at the Senior Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I said, I mean, it could be him, it could be Ball. Like I said, but I don't think none of them's got it figured out yet. I think this is what we're going with, and it's going to be let the best fucking man win. You know, which hopefully it turns out. Hopefully it turns out. Well, hopefully fucking Tyron can stay healthy all year.
Yeah.
He hasn't, but hopefully he can.
I see Philly Notion's having a good time in the comments tonight.
Yeah, he fucking always having a good time in the comments.
At this point, I can't say I blame him. Look at their first 4 picks.
Nah, no, but see, that's the thing. The Giants and the Eagles, but the same thing. All the Cowboy fans was losing their shit over their picks. I'm like, well, fuck, dude. They had 2 top 7 picks were Giants, I think, did.
Yeah.
And Philly had 2 top 10, 2 top 12. I'm like, fuck, it's hard to fuck that up. I mean, you should have known going to the draft. They're going to get some good fucking players there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're drafting twice in the top 7. You'd have to really be awful at the draft to fuck that up. So yeah, no, they got good players. They got a good wide receiver, but what they don't have is a fucking quarterback.
Right.
So that's what I told everybody. I don't give a shit how good their draft is, how many good defense players they get, how many fucking goddamn good wide receivers they get, until Giants, Philly, and fucking the Commandos, the Condoms, what the fuck ever they're called, until all 3 of them teams get a quarterback or one of them teams get a quarterback, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. And Philly Notion, while you're here, one thing I will say, I'm going to be watching very closely what D tackle you guys cut, because that position is loaded. And I hope we're right there to snatch one up. They just cut their center today too. I hope we look at that.
Who did?
The Eagles. They cut the backup center.
Oh shit! I was like, are you kidding me? They cut whatchamacallit?
They didn't cut Kelsey, but they cut.
Yeah, but they drafted that kid. And, I seen Kelsey talking about it on the Eagles show, and he said that he actually loved him. That the Eagles been coming to him for a couple of years, asking him to look at centers. He said that was his favorite center in the past 2 or 3 years that came out. And he said so he was all for them drafting him.
Yeah, and they also drafted that kid from Alabama last year, I believe.
Yep.
But they played him at guard.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I believe that we're not done in free agency. You still got post June 1 cuts. They're still. I mean, there's still players out there we can sign and we will sign. I doubt it'd be any big, huge names or anything, but yeah, I don't think we're done in free agency. I guess you're saying that because of the left tackle. Yeah, I guess we could. I don't know right off the top of my head. I'm done out of the free agency brain here, so I don't know if there was any tackles out there in free agency left.
I don't know if he plays tackle anymore, but the kid he was drafted by the Giants a couple years back.
Fowlers, or is it Fowlers?
No,
that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking about somebody else. Like I said, I'm so out of the free agent thing, jumped in the draft. Now I forgot all about free agency. But yeah, no, I mean, I guess we can fix it still there through free agency.
Yeah, I think he's played guard for the past couple of years, but he was drafted.
I know who you're talking about. I'm saying the wrong name, but
I'm sure somebody put it in the comments.
There, Eric Flowers.
Yeah, Eric Flowers. Thank you, Matt. Yeah. That's probably the only name I could think of that's out there right now that people recognize as a backup tackle option. I think Nate Solder's still out there, but I think he had a foot in the retirement 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, last time I looked, I don't remember any guy that caught my eye that we could sign. But again, there'll be some cuts coming here in June. So, I mean, you never know.
Yep.
We'll move to the next one.
Yeah. Hernandez, Riker. That ship may have sailed with the Ty Smith draft pick.
I think she was guessing on who he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
Because right underneath her shit was all Flyers.
Yeah.
If Hernandez came to our team, he'd have to fucking fight half our defensive line before they even let him on the team.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that motherfucker is always starting shit, but it's not. I blame our players. I'm like, dude, y'all know he is going to start shit with y'all, and they always get sucked in and get a penalty because of it, and he just goes back to the huddle laughing and smiling. I'm like, just let him go.
Yep. Matt putting another guy out there, coming off an injury.
Sam Tevy.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Okay. And Matt
Hernandez
said
signed with the Cardinals.
Hernandez signed with the Cardinals. Now, this kid, Deron Bland. I actually watched some tape on him before the draft, and I said it as soon as they made the pick. This is a safety candidate. I don't see cornerback at all for this kid. Safety and special teams. Stiff hips. To me, he didn't look very good at the line of scrimmage. And if Quinn continues to play man like he did last year, there's no shot he can make this roster as a corner. So this one, I think, is just going to be a straight safety / special teams candidate that they're going to start the conversion on as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'm glad you said it because that's what I saw. I didn't see a cornerback. I saw a safety, and the pick was it was one of the picks I didn't hate. I just kind of shrugged my shoulders and didn't really understand it.
I didn't either.
But no matter how deep I dive into the draft, when I did dive into it, and this year I didn't. When it gets to the 5th round picks, I'm not going to really freak out and say, "Oh my God, you drafted him." It's not that big of a deal to me. I'm okay with it. But yeah, that's what I saw. I saw a safety special teams guy, and see how that plays out.
No, I think he was one of our top 30 visit guys too.
I'm pretty sure he was.
So just because of that, somebody liked him in our defensive room to bring him in, and I guess he made a good enough impression that they thought we should bring him in the 5th. I mean, we're lucky we got Marquise Bell as an undrafted free agent, which is a guy I loved. And I agree, Matt. I don't see it either.
See, I do too. That's what I'm saying is when I saw him, I saw a safety, and I didn't understand the pick.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't hate it. Like I said, it's 5th round pick. I don't flip out over a 5th round pick. But I'm just like, I don't really see where they're going with this pick from because I see a safety, and we don't need safety.
Right.
It's just, I mean, we're kind of good there. So yeah, it was kind of a shrug my shoulders pick. But like I said, I didn't, once you get to the 5th round, I don't lose my shit over any of the picks.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say, like, bunch of stuff I could talk about our fan base with, but everybody thinks whenever we draft a guy, he's going to be an instant starter. 5th rounders get cut every day. If he gets cut, that doesn't make it a bad pick. They took a shot in the dark at a player that somebody liked that they didn't think they could get as an undrafted free agent. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, oh well.
The worst part about that is that our fans will do that, and then when they don't work out or if they don't get much playing time, the next year, that position is a need again. It's like you prop up Simi. Their fans propped up Simi so much. So you would think going in this year with us signing Washington, us having, Gallup is going to be out only 4 or 5 games. Simi was a guy last year. I had people tell me he was going to be that guy and he was going to take Gallup's spot this year. And now all of a sudden, the fucking season starts or the offseason starts and we're flipping out and losing our shit that we ain't got no wide receivers. And I'm like, well, what about Simi? Y'all was so high on him. Same with defensive tackle. Everybody lost their shit over Bo. He's going to change our defense. He's the guy. We will be a better defense because of him. And I'm like, fuck, dude, he's a 6th round draft pick. Let's don't get excited about him.
Right.
Now this year, everybody wanted another defensive tackle. I'm like, what the fuck about Bo? Hell, I even gave Bo credit where I thought 1 year, he needs 1 year. He needs 1 year to gain strength, 1 year to learn his pad level because his pad level is fucking awful.
Awful.
So let him learn that. And I always said his 2nd year, he might be that guy. But everybody that was on his jock last year jumped off it and freaked out. And we got to get a nose tackle. We got to get a 1 tech. And I'm like, y'all always fall off. Y'all prop these guys up 1 year. And as soon as they don't do anything or don't get playing time because they're fucking late round draft picks and they don't get a lot of playing time a lot of time, y'all just jump off the bandwagon and just want to draft another guy. So That's my little rant.
And you say that, and then we go to the next pick.
Yeah, and this is gonna be. This is.
We got one more to go then. Okay.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Well, we already been get through him because he's injured anyways.
Yeah.
I like the pick. That's a steal if he can get back to who he was and his spinal fusion shit. That ain't no joke either. And I don't have a spinal fusion, but I guess I do. I got a fusion from my head bone to my C2, and it ain't no joke. But his is different. Yeah. I don't know what they plan to do with him. I think he's going to be on the pup. He's going to start on the pup. Might miss the first 8 games. He might even pretty much a red shirt year anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, future wise, him, fucking Cox, fucking Parsons. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that linebacker core right there. That's I'll be pretty happy with that.
Yeah. I had him as a day 2 guy going into the draft. I like his movement skills. I like his ability to hit. The only thing I don't like about him, he's never seen a head fake or a play action he didn't like. Now, I think you can coach that out of him with some tape. But in terms of movement skills, tackling ability, the ability to get guys kind of set, I think he's a good Mike guy. But outside of that, yeah, if we see him this year, it'll be a bonus.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to take a wait and see. I think, like I said, if he can get back in full recovery, definitely draft him where we did. It is a steal, And but yeah, so that's where you pick them guys out, not the fucking second round. Where we always love to pick our injured players in the second round. And Matt said that he don't think anybody's a starter, and I agree, dude. That's how I am. I don't, especially when it comes to late round picks. I don't think John Randall probably was the last late round pick that I stood on the hill for.
Yeah,
and he was actually good 2015. He just couldn't keep his fucking head on straight. But yeah, late round picks, I'm not going to really stand on the hill and predict they're going to change our whole defense or offense.
Yeah,
maybe improve it or something. But I mean, there's a reason you're drafted that late. Doesn't mean you can't be great. Tom Brady was great.
Right.
It shit happens. But yeah.
Yeah, there are only 3 positions where I can kind of see a late round guy coming in and being an impact player. That's defensive tackle, that's center, and running back.
Okay, definitely running back and defensive tackle. Yeah. Them 2 positions. That's one I'll go on one, not a rant, but one of my. I just don't like drafting big one techs in the first round. I just don't. They're just not. They're not that important anymore, and that's not a knock on them. It's just they're somebody who's going to play 50% in the snaps, and I'm not drafting a guy high that's going to be on the field 50% of the time. I can get that guy, and our next pick is going to show it. Yeah. I can get that guy in the 5th, 6th round. And the difference I don't see unless they're a big true one tech that can stop the run, but they can also not be a liability on passing downs. You keep him out there, then fuck yeah, draft that guy. But not somebody who's just strictly, I'm going to stuff the run and I'm going to be on the field 50% of the time. And I'm only going to be on the field if my team is failing and if my defense is failing play by play. That's the only time they get to stay on the field more than 50% of the time.
Yeah, you're right, Matt. Those centers and guards. Guards can start.
Yeah, guards another one. Yeah. Whether I dive into the draft or not, I have my draft philosophies. You don't take a running back early. You don't take a defense tackle, one tech early. 3 tech, you do. 3 tech, I have no problem with. Mm-hmm. But big, fat one techs, no, I don't want them early.
Yeah.
All right, let's get
about Damone Clark, 21 days for some around Thanksgiving this year.
All right, well, here it is, dude. I guess we're going to agree this is my favorite draft pick of the one. That's what he was mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Matt, I'll cover your ears. We have a private chat. I talked about John Ridgway probably since October. This was my guy from day one. I thought he was a day 2 guy, and Dominique and Matt O pretty much just shut me down and said, no, there's no chance he goes before the 4th. They were right, but I'm glad we got him.
Yeah. This is where I like to take my defensive tackles, and I have no problem. Like last year, I like the Bo pick where it was at. The only problem I had with the Bo pick was the Cowboy fans. It wasn't the Bo pick. It wasn't Bo I had an issue with. It was the Cowboy fans overvaluing him and predicting he was going to change our run defense, and this was what's going to change our whole defense. You know, this guy, I'm not predicting that. I just love the guy. I love everything
I'm
about
predicting it.
Now, are you going to predict it? Okay, well, there you go.
No, I'm just joking. But I look at certain positions for certain traits, and I hear people talk about the Travis Jones kid from UConn. A pass rushing nose tackle, okay.
Tuning off. Matt Owens said he's tuning off.
If you have a pass rushing one tech, good for you. Doesn't mean much to me. If a nose tackle gets 3 sacks in a year, that's a Pro Bowl year for a nose tackle. I want a guy who can hold up at the line of scrimmage. I want a guy who knows how to shed guards and centers, and I want a guy who knows how to two gap. He comes in with all 3 of those as a 5th round pick. Now, I know, yeah, Matt didn't want him in the 3rd. I would have taken him in the 3rd, but we got him now, so I'm happy regardless of where we got him at. What I love about him, of course, I love the way he talks. I love his tenacity. I love
his nastiness.
His nastiness. This is a nasty player, guys. This is the type of guy. Him and Ty Smith are fighting within the first 5 snaps of training camp. I'll guarantee that one. That was a fight waiting to happen. But what I like about him, and Matt O doesn't like it, and I don't like it either at times. He has that wrestling background, and he gets that mauler mentality in the trenches, where he's just gonna grab a guy, lock him out, push him back, and shed him. Now, sometimes he gets a little bit too worked up with the guy, and the shedding may just go left and right, and he loses track of the play. But when he's on, he's on. He two gaps probably as good as any D tackle you can find in this draft when it comes to taking on a guy head up and getting him out the way and getting to the ball.
Yeah, I always like to bring my son up on this shit because he played defensive tackle. He was a small defensive tackle, and he would piss me off so many times because he would get. I mean, he had to play against a lot bigger guys. Hell, he's only 185-pound defensive tackle, but he would get into it. The offensive line would piss him off. They'd hold him or talk shit to him, and he would do that. He would focus in on that dude and just fucking hit him and start wrestling with him and fucking. And I'm like, dude, don't fucking. The goddamn running back ran right past you while you're dancing with him, while you're trying to fight this guy. But yeah, no, I noticed that too. Sometimes he gets a little. I think that's just his meanness. Sometimes I think he just wants to prove a point. But no, yeah, this is my favorite pick. He's fucking big. He's a one tech that I like drafting in that round. He's nasty. He wants to break fucking people's necks. I love this. I love the pick. And like I said, I'm a defensive guy, believe it or not. Although I'm always talking about offense. But I love that's all I played during my little high school career and Pee Wee career. So I love defense and I love guys like him. I think, like I said, I'm not predicting he's going to change the defense, but he's going to have a spot on this team and a valuable spot on this team.
Yeah.
First, somebody asked earlier, I think it was Menendez or somebody, does this mean Bo and Hill are gone? Yeah. I don't think it means Bo is gone. And I'm not so sure Hill even is going to play into whether he's gone or not from this guy, but I think Bo. I don't think Bo's gone just because of this guy. I think they like Bo.
Yeah, I think what's going to determine that is if they bring Urban back. Because if they bring Urban back, then one of these guys is going to be the odd man out.
And then you got 4 deep. Yeah, then you got 4 one techs. You got Urban, you got Watkins, you got this dude, and you got Bo.
Yeah.
So somebody's got to go.
And if they decide to put Urban at the 3, then you got Gallimore, Osa, Urban, and then Tristan Hill. So if they bring Urban back, these are the 2 odd men out. Like Charlie said, I don't think Ridgeway dictates that. But one thing I think it does do, he's going to be a heavy rotation guy if he's healthy, I think. And that allows you to put Gallimore back at the 3 tech and now you got Ridgeway and Watkins kind of holding down the nose tackle spot, because I think Watkins, if he's only playing 35, 40%, I think he's a really quality nose tackle. And
it's one of the things, we got so many one techs, so many three techs who can play both three tech and one tech.
Yeah.
Some three techs who can play three tech and defensive end. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's going to be a heavy rotation. Because you got Osa. Osa could play all three spots. He can play the one, he can play the three, he can play the five. He can play out on outside. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Urban can too.
Urban
if he
can
comes
too.
Back.
Yeah.
We got about a month, probably got about a month before we hear anything about him and that pec injury and recovery.
And that's another guy, Chauncey Golston.
Yep.
That's good. Bring up there, Jack, because that's why I'm saying we have so many defense linemen. I can't keep track of them, you know. Which that's good. That's what I want. I want a bunch of. I want rotation in that motherfucker all the time. Keep them fuckers fresh and keep them going. So yeah, but yeah, no. Like I said, overall, this is my favorite draft pick.
Yeah.
You know, maybe because I'm not a huge fan of Arkansas, but I do follow Arkansas.
Yeah.
You know, fucking like I said, he was my favorite pick before he said he wanted to break people's necks. But once he said that, I'm like, shit, well, yeah, this dude's my guy. You know, he plays nasty. When I watch him play, when I always watch it, because I watch a lot of Arkansas football too.
Yeah.
He'll talk shit too. I mean, when he dominates, he'll let them know I just kicked your ass. So, and I'm never mad at people like that.
Yeah.
As long as you don't get a fucking flag for it.
Yeah. If you want good Ridgeway guys who are watching and don't want to just see highlights, if you want to see a good Ridgeway game, Texas A&M.
Yeah, that was. I'm an A&M fan, so I watched that one.
If you want to see why he dropped to the fifth, watch Georgia.
Yeah, that was his bad tape. He got fucking demolished in fucking Georgia.
Yeah, that was
that was not a good game for him. Yes, yeah. Somebody brought that up. I didn't watch that game live, but somebody after we drafted him said go watch the Georgia tape, and I did, and I was like, yeah, well, I'm not just going to go off one game.
Yeah,
you know, everybody has a game, and plus Georgia's offensive line is kind of maulers anyways.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah, that center's probably going to be a first or second rounder next year.
Yeah.
And Sawyer winning the fifth, I think. But
Georgia's offensive line did that to a lot of people this past season.
Yes, they did.
So I ain't going to hold that against them. And plus, like I said, defense lineman is only as good as your next defense lineman. And if you don't have somebody next to you, then you're going to get the doubles all the time or the fucking pulls and shit. Sometimes you might not look good.
I'll say this one last thing about Ridgeway, and we can move on. You can judge the talent level of a defensive tackle by how good he makes the linebackers behind him look. Alabama has two 1989 unathletic, straight downhill linebackers. And one of those guys had like 170 tackles last year because he was just untouched and just had open lanes to get the guys because Ridgeway was just clearing pass out for him and inside.
Yep. Like I said, I love this pick, man. I was excited about this pick. And it's unusual, especially considering my philosophy on defensive tackles or one techs. But like I said, if you draft them the 5th and 6th round, 4th round, I don't say too much about it. I kind of, that's kind of where I want you to take them guys at. I'll let you start on Harper.
Thank you, Charlie. Devin Harper. I ended up watching 3 games of him last night, and I don't even want to say what I want to say because anybody's watching is gonna hate him. I saw last year Jalen. The athleticism that he showed in the pro day did not match what was on tape. On tape, he was 2 steps behind on every play. He looked like a deer in the headlights when he was in space. The only time he looked good is if there was like a hitch play or an off tackle play, and he could see it and just go straight to it. Other than that, he was the last guy to the party every snap. But he ran.
That's why I let you go first. Yeah, that's why I let you go first. I'll let you say it first. But yeah, I agree with all that.
I didn't want to say Jalen, but
honestly, I didn't think about Jalen. But you're correct. I see what you're saying now. But yeah, no, I was I was not impressed, but again, without diving into it, and even if I did dive into it before a draft, it's a 6th-round pick, and I just not really, maybe they saw something I'm not seeing. I give him credit for that, and maybe he'll turn out to be something I don't see that I'm not seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of like, yeah, whatever. It was in a draft, and like, all right, we got that dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't overly impressed with that, with his film that I saw, his tape.
And Matt O said what's strange about him, he was one of the players DQ sounded the most excited about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, this is where I'll give DQ a lot of credit. I'm not going to bitch too much because there were some players that he drafted last year. I'm like, what the fuck? And they turned out just fine. You know, so I'll give him full credit. That's why I said earlier, maybe they see something that I'm not seeing. I mean, I ain't no film expert. I can watch film. I know what I'm watching, but I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a film expert.
Yeah.
And know everything I'm seeing, so maybe they see something I don't see,
because
like
I went back and looked at Golston's snaps, or didn't Golston miss like the first 5 games?
Yes.
And he
yes,
had
he
like
did.
40 tackles on the year. Like that doesn't sound like a lot to most people listening, but a defensive lineman having 40 tackles in 10 games is ridiculous for a guy that's not starting.
Yeah, Golston. Yeah, that's Meeker brought him up. Right? That's a guy. I mean, that's a guy that I forgot all about. Like I said, I'm happy with our. It's going to be another exciting year. I mean, hopefully it won't be disappointing at the fucking end like it was this past one. But we'll have ear of our fan base through.
I wish we could have got his teammate Malcolm Rodriguez though. I'd be
because of Cooper trade. That's what Matt's talking about. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about that. I would never look at it that way. But yes, other fans will say, "Who did we get for Cooper?" And if they fail, it's going to be even a worse trade. Not for me. I didn't think it was a bad trade, and people who thought we should have got more. If you ever want to discuss that with me, I will be happy to tell you how wrong you are on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I can say about this pick is looking at our linebacker room right now, Micah's not playing any special teams. Van Der Esch is not playing any special teams. They let go of Francis Bernard, and he was like 80% for special teams last year. I don't even know if Luke Gifford's on the team or not, if he's going to make it. So we don't have any special teams guys in the linebacker room. And, of course, Cox, if he's going to have the impact that people think he's going to have, his special team is going to be limited.
Yeah,
so
he's
you got to have a special teams guy at linebacker. Maybe this is it.
Yeah, no, that's why. Yeah, but like I said, whoever mentioned it, or I think it was Matt, said how excited Quinn was. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I mean, when I have a coach like him that did what he did last year, if I don't like the pick, I'm like, I'll shrug my shoulders. Like, hey, I'll give it to him because obviously maybe he sees something I don't, and I won't never claim to be an expert on watching film. I know what like I said, I know what I'm watching, but I can't tell details that somebody else that can tell that watches it more than I do. Especially kids coming out of college and trying to portray that that's where I'm not an expert. I can watch film in NFL of the Cowboys,
right?
And I'm still not a fucking expert, but you know what I'm saying. That I'm more confident in watching film and trying to portray what they're going to be from college. Yes, I'm going to throw my hands up and say people's better than me at it. Especially quarterback. I suck at judging quarterbacks coming out. Every time I think I got a good one, they suck. Every time I got one I think sucks, they turn out being good. I'm like, fuck it. I'll just give up. I'm not even going to try to judge them anymore. And I have no problem admitting that. There we go.
So since you bring that up, is quarterback the only position you look at and you're like always wrong on it? Because I got like 2 or 3 positions that I never can get right.
Quarterback stands out because I've been so badly wrong on it. I'll give you a little history. I thought None Nuts was going to be better than Peyton Manning, Ron Leaf.
Okay.
All right.
That's
after that happened, I'm like, I'm never judging a quarterback ever again. And I didn't until 2014. It's embarrassed for me to say this. I love the Zach Martin pick. I fucking did multiple fucking mocks, and I always took Zach Martin because that was it was Aaron Donald was my first pick that year I wanted, and Zach Martin was my second pick.
Yeah.
And we got him. So I love that pick. With that said, when we didn't draft Johnny Manziel, my exact words, sometimes I'll go pull the receipt and I'll put it in our chat. And what I said, we will rue the day we did not draft Johnny Manziel. Well, then Johnny Manziel happened. So I said, you know what? Never fucking judging a quarterback again. And then what did I do? We drafted Dak Prescott in the 4th round. I bitch. He's not the fucking goddamn starting quarterback. He'll never be a starting quarterback. His best thing he'll ever be is a quality backup quarterback. And then Dak Prescott happened. So I thought, you know what? I'm going back to my original thought in 1998. I got to shut the fuck up and stop judging these quarterbacks because obviously I have no clue what I'm talking about when it comes to quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But that's probably the one that stands out the most. I'm sure, there's probably maybe the edge. I'm not good at judging edges. Maybe that would be my second one. Cornerback, just because there's so much shit that goes on out there that I have a hard time trying to see if it translates to the NFL that I might not be good at. But quarterback just stands out so bad to me in all my bad takes that I would say, yes, quarterback is the position I try to stay away from.
Yeah. For me, it's tight ends, speed receivers. I'm pretty good with 4.5 to 4.6 receivers. I'm good with those guys. And safety. I may hit a safety 1 out of 12.
Well, I'm glad somebody else sucks at quarterback. Fucking Mendoza. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I tell everybody all the time, I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. And most time when I'm wrong, I'll make fun of myself. Because I'm constantly bringing up Johnny Manziel and how bad I was on that one. And I always tell people, yeah, I said we're going to rue the day we didn't draft him. But like I said, I wasn't upset that night because we got Zach Martin, and I never thought Johnny was going to fall that far, and we didn't even have a chance at him.
Yeah.
So I was pissed that we didn't draft him, but Zach Martin, I love that pick. That was, like I said, Donald was my first. That's who I wanted, but I didn't figure he'd fall that far, and he didn't. And Zach Martin was my second one. And then the kid out of I forgot where he went to school at, but he went to Pittsburgh Steelers. He got paralyzed. That was my third choice. And Pittsburgh drafted him, I think, right before. Yeah, Shazier. That was my third choice. That was the three guys that I figured one of them was going to fall to us, and I would have been happy with any of them.
Speaking of the Steelers, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that was before my don't draft the off the ball linebacker in the first round. That was before I had that philosophy. But I liked him. I thought he was good.
Speaking of the Steelers, I thought Polamalu would be a bust.
Oh, did you really?
Yes. I
didn't know, but I thought he'd be okay, but I didn't think he'd be what he was.
I thought
he was a fucking beast.
He did the same thing in college, and I just thought he was just way too wild and undisciplined to be a good free safety. And he turned that into an elite career. Same thing he did in college. I didn't think it would work.
My first draft I dove into, was was 2003. That's when we drafted Terrence Newman. And Terrell Suggs came out that year. And Terrell Suggs was my guy. And he had been reported before he combined for pro day and thing that he ran a 4.440. And that's what everybody was hyped up about. I'm like, fuck yeah, 4.440. I think he ended up running like a 4.6. And everybody got off his train. And I'm like, who gives a shit? What he had like his junior, senior, what of his last year, like 21 sacks, 22. Right. I'm thinking, well, he was running that 4.6, getting him 21 sacks. It ain't like he's slowed down. Ain't like he was running a 4.4 then and slowed down. And I still wanted him. I was disappointed because I did not want Newman. He ended up being a good cornerback and everything, but the only thing I did like about him is punt return ability. But we never hardly ever used him as a punt returner. So but I mean, he ended up being a solid quarterback for us. But Suggs was my guy that year. I was standing on many hills for him. I was so upset we didn't draft him. That was my first draft I ever dove into like that. Just watching film, studying it, and just going at it. And I'm like, damn, my first draft, they don't even draft the guy I want. I was like, this is going to be years of this.
Yeah. Good question, Jack. Let me say this. People talk about, I was just about to say, people talk about like guys like you and me, Charlie, where we see guys and we know like this is a player. And you see a guy like Aaron Donald fall to 12. And people are like, well, you should have a job with the coaching staff because clearly you know more than the scouts. NFL scouts and coaches have a bias towards short players. It's been like that for 50 years.
High school does too.
They don't care about how he looks on the field, what his measurables are. If he doesn't meet a certain height standard, and in some situations a speed standard, they're going to wipe him off their board. And this is one of those guys that was a perfect example of that.
Yeah, it was his size. And I guess when I said high school is because always going back, I played football back in the 80s and early 90s. It's always been that way.
Mhm.
Coaches love size. They love size. They love speed because you can't teach them things. And if they're not that good, they're like, well, we can bring them in. We can teach them how to play. We can teach them that. And sometimes they ignore just of what the fuck the small guy is doing. Like you ain't got to teach him anything. Even though he's small, he's still doing it. You know, my son got that a lot in high school. You know, they kept putting bigger guys ahead of him, and they wasn't doing shit. But that guy was so big, they just, you know, my son was so little, they just thought he could do it, and they never did do any better than my son did. And my size, I was a small high school football player, and it went against me a lot. So, but yeah, no, it's like that from high school on. You know, I guess probably maybe Pee-wee on, but definitely in the NFL, yeah, it's size. That's why he dropped. But I didn't give a shit about his size. I love that fucking guy coming out of college. I fucking loved him. That was so badly I wanted that fucker on our team.
All right. That's all the picks, Charlie?
That's all the picks. I didn't go with free agency. I mean,
No,
the undrafted ones. That was just too many. But if you do a show one, yeah, if I have time, I'll jump on. If not, I'll just watch you and Maddie.
I plan on doing it next Thursday if possible.
All right.
Got to check my schedule.
Y'all better at that shit than I am. Like I said, I feel I wanted to do a show on their draft, but I just wasn't going to dive too deep into it because I didn't dive deep into the draft, so I didn't want to like really get into it. So
yeah. So before we go, I know Ridgeway was both of our favorite picks. Who was your head scratcher pick? Did you have one?
I guess the Fresno State. That was
same for me.
Yeah, that was kind of like, I mean, I guess you can say Harper too, but I guess that was the end of the draft. I really didn't give a shit at that time. I was about to go binge some Ozark. I was thinking about that already. But yeah, I would say Fresno State cornerback Bland. I think I'm saying his name right. But yeah, that was the one where, like we was talking about earlier, I saw safety and I thought, why do we need a safety? You know, so I didn't see where he was going to fit in on this team, unless that was a Bones Fossil pick and he sees something in special teams that he really wants some or something. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But yeah, that was my head scratcher.
Okay.
And that was really, there was no other head scratchers. I guess immediately when we drafted Tyler Smith, it was, and at that moment, it was kind of head scratching. I'm like, hey, Jermaine Johnson was on the board. What the fuck did we just do? But then after I, read other thing about him, watched some shit on him, and heard the people's opinions, I'm like, all right, I get it. And the reports were that he was not going to make it past the first round, that there was other teams that was going to draft him. And I guess the Cowboys, that's who they had. And they was like, fuck it. If we don't get him now, we can't. So, hey, like I said, I mean, I'm wrong at times. I was wrong on Parsons. So I'm not going to, even if I hated the pick, I'm not going to harp on it for too long, because I'll tell you I like it, don't like it, and then we'll wait and see. And I wait and see on Parsons, and holy shit. That was a wrong pick. I mean, wrong pick on my part, saying that he was a bad pick.
Is there any other team in the NFL whose draft kind of stood out to you, like, boy, they hit a home run?
Home runs. I don't want to say the Ravens hit a home run. Ravens just draft. They just fucking do.
They hit home runs, Charlie. They would knock it out of the park.
Well, that's why they just draft, but it's like every fucking year. That's what I'm saying. It's just, if they ever have a bad draft, I'll be surprised. I'm not surprised when they have good drafts, because that's just kind of what they do. And Steelers, to be fair, they're always solid in their drafts. Fucking one of my Ravens crushed it. Yeah. I was about to ask Matt, do you have anybody else besides what I'm saying? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Ravens, like I said, they come up every time, but they do every year. So, shit. Yeah, that's the only ones I can think of right off the top of my head. Jets, Jets they did. Their picks are early and shit too, so that helped. And I'm not knocking them for it, I'm just saying, but yeah, Ravens. I just keep saying Ravens. That's the one that always comes to my head.
Yeah.
But if you ask me that last year or next year or fucking 5 years down the road, I'm probably going to say the Ravens every fucking year. That's what they do.
Yeah. But when I looked at, like, I wasn't really paying attention because I was busy all weekend. But every time I saw the Ravens pick, I was like, damn, I had that guy's a top 200 player. And I'm talking about 5th, 6th, 7th round.
Right.
Like, that was a top 200 player for me. They got like 3 tight ends. They got Ojabo that they can just basically have fun with whenever.
Yeah, all them teams that they're mentioning. Yeah, Falcons, Chiefs. Yeah, I couldn't disagree with any of them either. And to be honest with you, I don't think we had a bad draft. We didn't crush it, but I gave us a solid B. I have no problem giving us a solid B. What did you give us if you're up to grading drafts?
Yeah, I think
like this year, I had to rely on a lot of people. I had to rely on Matt and other people's on Twitter because, like I said, I just did not dive into the draft this year, so I had to listen to everybody else. And I mean, not that I don't, and I do. What?
Matt was pessimistic this year.
Well, that's not bad. C plus. I mean, I gave it a solid B. I'm not going to argue a C plus. I don't think that's horrible.
I was at B minus.
Yeah. So C plus, B minus. I can see all of them.
It all still has to play out on the field, so you never know.
If anybody gave us an F or a fucking A plus something, then I would argue with them.
Right.
But anywhere from a C to a B, anywhere there's minus or plus, I don't give a shit. I'm okay with it. I can make that argument too.
All right. Last question. Was there any player anywhere in the draft that you wanted us to take that we had a chance to take we didn't? Outside of like Jermaine Johnson in the first. Anywhere else in the draft?
Oh. You'd have to give me time. I'm trying to think.
Okay.
Yeah. Right off the top of my head, I say no, but as soon as I get off this show, and I'll think about one. But no. But in fairness, again, since I did dive into the draft, it was a lot of times it was hard when people was bitching. We should have took that player. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't know. But I know a lot of people pissed off. We didn't take the linebacker from Georgia, Noby, whatever his name is.
N'Kobe Dean.
Yeah, the Eagles ended up getting. I wasn't mad about that because I just, as a Cowboy fan, dude, I'm tired of fucking injured players. And with him having a meniscus and a fucking shoulder problem, it might not be shit. I don't know. He might turn out to be great and have a great career, but it's just I'm tired of drafting injured players.
Yeah. I tried to warn you, Matt, before you did it. If you like Tyler Smith, don't watch the Houston game. I watched that game last night. I counted 7 holding calls total. They called 2 of them. One of them was just blatant. Like he literally grabbed the guy, threw him down and tackled him, and the ref was right there and didn't call it. But I counted 7 legitimate holding calls that if the ref wasn't blind, he would have seen it. But yeah, I told you, man, it's blatant. Like he's literally just grabbing guys behind the neck and just slamming them down the whole game.
I'm hoping, like we said earlier, him moving the guard will fix some of that, or not fix it, but help some of that.
Yeah, overall, good draft. Looking forward to seeing what we start to hear from these guys as we go through off season. Next week, I definitely plan on doing undrafted free agents. I don't know if I can hit all 20 of them, but I should be able to hit at least 3/4 of them and get a chance to watch them and see. I think our punt returner, if we take punt returner serious, I think we got our punt returner of the future in undrafted free agency. So for all the semi fans out there and the Vasher fans, we got a kid in undrafted free agency that I think is going to surprise some people and make this roster.
What about our kicker? You like the kicker?
I think he's a solid guy.
Texas Tech, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to judge kickers. If he can make 162,
Kickers. I mean, I know they're important and blah 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 blah, but more times than not, I'm wanting to fucking go for it anyways. It's like I don't want to kick a 25-yard field goal when it's 4th and 1. Just fucking go for it. So.
Yeah, Frygo. I know this is Madden Mendoza's guy. I like him too. I like him a lot.
Are you going next Thursday or 2 days from now Thursday?
No, I'm going next Thursday. Okay. I can't do 2 days from now.
I was about to say, holy shit, and I ain't going on your show because there's no way I can study all them guys in 2 days.
I don't like.
I'll take a dip in them and see if I have time with my schedule and shit. I got to go to the heart doctor Friday and get my results. So we'll see how that goes. And
yeah, good luck with that.
If I have time over the weekend, I'll dive into them and see what I can do. But anyways, I appreciate you doing the show with me tonight, man, because this would have been about an hour show if you came on, because you was a lot more into it than I was. So knew a lot more about the shit than I did. So that helped out, prolonged it, and fucking gave everybody more information.
Yeah. It's a good 2-hour show.
Yeah. But anyways, for people listening, you can follow me at where can you follow me at? Oh, Dallas Cowboys U1. Just type in Dallas Cowboys Uncensored on Twitter, you'll get me. Same Dallas Cowboys Uncensored on YouTube, Dallas Cowboys Uncensored on Apple, Dallas Cowboys Uncensored on Spotify, Cowboys Uncensored on Facebook. We got a new page going since fucking Facebook shut down my last 3 pages for impersonation, and I'm not quite getting what I was impersonating. But we're going to try to start that back up. If you do have Spotify or Apple and you don't ever catch our live show and you don't want to go on YouTube, you can always catch us there now. We're going to start putting our shows on there. It won't be live, obviously. It'll be after the show. We'll drop it on there at some point. But yeah, glad to be back. Like I said, I took the 4-month hiatus. I had a lot of shit I had to take care of, and basically it came down to me just not wanting to dive into it this year. Just like, Jesus Christ, diving into 200-300 players when we're only going to draft 9, and we're going to go 13-4 and fucking miss the play. I mean, make the playoffs and lose. It's one of them things. It's getting monotonous after 26 years. So, but from here on out, I'm in. I'll dive in everything. I'll dive into the schedule release. I'll dive into the OTAs. I'll dive into, the real football. Not that college football ain't real, but you know what I'm saying, the actual Cowboys football from here on out. And once training camp starts, we'll be balls to the wall. Like I said, you catch me on Tuesdays. I'll be doing my show every Tuesday. At some point, I'm going to be by myself. But I will bring guests on, and me and Bluff will always try to do collabs together at some point. Rocco will be doing her show on Saturdays. I can't remember if she wants to do it at 7 or 8, but she'll be doing her shows on Saturday. She'll be doing one this Saturday. So yeah, and be sure you hit sub, notification bell, and then on all the platforms, hit follow and like. On Apple, I think it's subscribe on Apple too. But I enjoy it. I'm glad to be back talking football. Now it gets real. We'll do a schedule release show too, because I love schedule release. Is one of my favorite times of the year. That's when you get to do a way too early prediction and see what it is.
Right.
I saw today they're going to release a little bit at a time. I think their next release is going to be everybody's first home game. So we'll find out who our first home game is going to be. Then the next week, I think it's May 9th and then May 12th, some shit like that. They're going to release the whole schedule.
Yeah. They just did the London games, right? Because I saw the UK.
Yeah, they did London games. They did the first Amazon game. First game is going to be played on Amazon. So yeah, I forget who all was playing in London. I think Green Bay's playing in Germany. The first game ever in Germany. I think that's who got it, was Green Bay.
Yeah, I think it's Jacksonville and Denver for UK.
Yeah. But yeah, Bluff, tell me where they catch you at, man.
Well, yeah, you guys find me Bluff City Cowboys, everything. Bluff Cowboys on Twitter. You can follow us, the Cowboys on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. During the off season, we go live we're gonna do probably 7:30 on Thursdays, and then once the season kicks off, we'll go back to Wednesday nights. Hopefully, I can get my co-host Lambo back in. He's kind of going through some transitions with his family. He's gotten a lot of things in order right now, but I think he's still a few weeks away from being able to consistently join me. I had some personal stuff I'm going through, but got to May, kind of gotten past it. So hopefully I can get back in the swing of things. So hopefully you guys can find us every Thursday, 7:30 Central Time. I'll probably try to have some hosts on as much as I can also. But you probably catch me on my show or catch me on someone else's. But no matter what, we're always going to be talking Cowboys football, and we're always looking forward to a great season.
Yep. And I'd like to thank Jack and Mendoza and Matt, not Rika,
DJ Dog.
DJ Dog. There was somebody else in here.
Pat. Was it Pat?
Pat, that's my best friend. Pat. It's one of your boys. I can't think of his freaking name, dude. Scrolling back.
Will Coulter.
There you go, Will Coulter. I'd like to thank him. Like I said, well, I'll be back on Tuesday. Rika will be on Saturday. I'll be on with Rika, and we'll do it again. I don't know. We haven't discussed what we're going to go over. Probably the draft again, and some things and some other shit. But yeah, we'll fucking do it up, man. I'm glad to be back. And again, I'd like to thank fucking Marcus D. Jones for bailing me out on this fucking show, because this would have been a quick show and over with. Hell, Matt Owen probably whenever he got to the show, by the time he got to it, I done ended it. But I'm glad he did it with me, and I appreciate him. And y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all Saturday if y'all drop in on a Rocket Show. Peace.
All right, thanks, guys.